Okay, here we go. Video number one, vlog number one on channel grow as you go. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Welcome to the show. All right, I'm going to admit, I'm in a pretty good mood. I don't know why. Maybe I'm compensating for something. I don't fucking know. But I will say, I am feeling a tad bit nervous about doing these videos. But that's just an indication to me that there's some sort of subconscious psychological pattern that is arising due to the fact that I'm recording a video. Maybe it's a self-judgment thing. I don't know. I'm willing to dive in though. Anyway, the point of this channel is to basically, there's lots of points. There's lots of reasons why I'm doing this. But the main thing is to share my journey, share my progress, to grow as I go. Essentially, I have this belief that I want to test, and this belief is that if I do a certain list of things every single day, a list of healthy habits related to health, mental health, physical health, and spiritual health, if I do these custom things, this custom list of things that I personally designed that resonate with me the most, my theory is, and I'm here to test it out, that if I do this for 18 months, at the end of that 18 months, whatever it is that I've been doing consistently for those 18 months is going to stick. And it's going to stick for the rest of my life, meaning I will never not do those things ever again. I've heard this mentioned a few times in my journey through my spiritual journey, my mental health journey. I've heard this mentioned by a few people in conversation or in books here and there. So I want to give it a test. I think it's a great challenge, and I would like to basically collect this journey in video format and also document it on my phone. I have multiple forms of documentation. Excel sheets, journaling, digital journaling. I tend to use the journal app on my phone whenever I'm just traversing the world. And I also use an application called Microsoft OneNote. Amazing. I've got lots of journal entries already, and I will continue to add more to those. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, yeah, I've got something around my neck here. This is a neck brace that I purchased from Walmart for $10. The reason why I purchased this neck brace from Walmart for $10 is because I pinched a nerve yesterday. And the funny thing is, I pinched a nerve doing something so wild. You're never even going to believe this. I was teaching skydiving to people, and I forgot to put on my freaking parachute and hit the ground. But I landed on my feet. But the compression from the landing on my feet, I locked my knees. I shouldn't have locked my knees, but the compression compressed my head into my neck. And because it compressed into my neck, it pinched a nerve. So anyway, it wasn't because of something so silly like dancing in my bedroom, getting ready for a hike on a Sunday, because it's a beautiful day outside. Right now it is, and yesterday it was. When I was getting ready for a hike to go outside. Hey, a good song came on, and I started dancing, started jumping up and down in my room, and I was fist bumping, bada bang, bada boom, pinched nerve. So yeah. Now, I will say, we'll segue into this. We'll segue out of that into something that is pretty relevant and pertinent to this channel. So the reason why it was my neck pinched a nerve so easily is because I had chronic tension in my neck. This chronic tension was contributed to by chronic flexation in my trapezius muscles. This chronic flexation in my trapezius muscles is due to an underlying subconscious emotional issue or emotional anxiety that hasn't yet been processed. I'm processing shit. I'm constantly processing shit, and I'm never going to stop. I love it. I love growing. And so I will continue to do this for the rest of my life. So yeah, pinched nerve because of chronic tension because of chronic flexation because of some sort of subconscious chronic negative pattern that exists emotionally. Literally, I will find myself like walking around, just existing, propagating the world, and I would literally find myself just flexing randomly. Nothing externally telling me that there's something to be like anxious about. Yeah, there's a lot more to unpack here. I could talk about this forever, but I'm not sure how I want the format of these videos to be. Do I want them to be long form? Do I want them to be short form? I don't really know. I don't really have an idea yet. I think the main point is just to produce something, just to make something. I made this channel many years ago, and I've always struggled to commit to making this. Just a little bit of a background, a little bit of a story. I've struggled with chronic anxiety and depression, and I've been on a journey for the past 6 years. I had a life-changing event happen 6 years ago that I will talk about later, but essentially I needed to make a change in my life, and I made some drastic changes with my life. I started a journey of self-reflection, self-introspection, and spiritual growth. At the time, I didn't know I was on a spiritual journey. I thought I was on an emotional journey. And the deeper I dived into it, the more I discovered that this is a very spiritual journey. And let me be clear. I define spirituality as relationship with self. Self being capital Self, the spiritual self, the energetic self. The light that shines within me is the same self, the same light that shines within you, that shines within the atoms of this kombucha, all atoms of reality. That is self. And how I relate to that self is important. And that is going to be the primary driver of my experience of self. So for example, if I experience something like, let's say, this pen, for example, if for some reason, this pen stabs me on accident or whatever, and I go, "You stupid fucking pen." I don't even know how a pen would just jump up and stab me, but now granted, a reaction like that is totally justifiable. I would be very pissed if this pen jumped out and stabbed me. However, how I relate to that is very important. If I let that momentary relationship with this pen, if I let that continue internally in my body, in my mind, and in my body, then that is a unhealthy relationship with the pen. The reason why is because as that relationship continues to propagate and recycle through my body, as long as it doesn't get processed, meaning healed or changed from a unwanted pattern to a wanted pattern, then it will continue to cause harm to me emotionally and spiritually because my relationship with the fucking pen isn't healthy. Now, it is going to be easier for people to recognize self in other if they identify with energy. Usually, we recognize self based off of how we already perceive self or how we already identify self. For example, if I identify as a white guy with a beard who wears a backwards hat and a blue shirt and has a voice that sounds like this and likes certain types of music and likes tattoos and blah, 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 blah. If I identify with these things, rather, let me be specific. If I limit my identification, my self-identification to these things, then when I notice these things in other people, I will be more likely to recognize self in them. However, not everybody is like those things I just identified. Not everybody is wearing a blue hat and a blue shirt and likes the same music as me and has the same tattoos as me and blah, 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 blah. the reason that this hinders my ability to connect with people and to relate to self is because there are billions of people in the world who do not identify as the same exact things that I identify with. So if I make it a lot easier for me, if I simply identify as pure energy that is making my atoms vibrate and the same energy that is making your atoms vibrate, then it would be a lot easier for me to identify, to relate, to have a relationship with you, because you are, in fact, pure energy, vibrating molecules propagating the universe. So my ability to relate to self becomes easier when I identify self to as energy. Now, I have fun. I like to dance. I like to have a good time. Clearly, I like to have a good time. And sometimes I'll play around with an identity that is limiting, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all here playing a game, having a good time. So I will go out and I'll propagate the world. I'm not always in a state of meditation. And I'll go out and I'll propagate as Brandon, as this person. However, I will do my best. I will do my best to recognize the light that shines within you as the same light that shines within me, so that I can have a better, easier ability to relate to you, because I identify with that to a certain degree. Anyway, I don't know how we got onto that topic, but relationship with self, spirituality. I've been on a spiritual journey. It started with a traumatic experience, and initially I started diving deep into personal development. Tony Robbins, shout out, was my initial introduction to personal development. From there, started reading Tony Robbins books, obviously, and I would basically follow the crumbs. I would read a book, find some crumbs in there that maybe reference another source to learn from, and I would go and read that book, and I would just continue doing that over and over again. And I started to notice some patterns. I started to notice some crumbs that existed in multiple sources, and so that created connections, connecting the dots. And the more I dived deeper, the more dots, the more crumbs I discovered. The number one most recognized crumb that I noticed or recognized was the crumb of spirituality, the crumb of a relationship with self. That was the number one thing that it existed in all of these sources of information. And so here I am now, hundreds of books later, and many years later, and many mistakes later, still on the same journey, and is getting better and better. And I'm ready to level up. And so this channel, this YouTube journey, this YouTube Grow As You Go challenge is the next level up. At the end of the 18 months, I'm going to gather the data I've created after, of course, presenting it to the world, and I am going to write a book. So if anyone out there tries to write a book called Grow As You Go, I've already got it, and I've already got all the URLs, so good luck, motherfucker. I'm also an aspiring stand-up comedian. However, I'm learning I'm not that funny. So I've got a lot of growing to do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, I don't want to make the first video overwhelming or too long. There it is. We improv'd it, impromptu. I didn't even plan this. I was so nervous. I just had to jump. I had to jump. It's like standing at the top of the high dive and looking over the edge and going, man, and really struggling. That's what this felt like. Obviously not to the same degree, but in a different degree. And so anyway, this channel itself is going to grow. It is going to evolve, and it is going to get better and better. And I'm excited to commit to this and to continue to share my experience. Anyway, have a great day. I don't have a sign off yet, so it'll come to me. Peace. Aloha. Smile.